Does your lower back feel like it is locked in solid concrete when you wake up in the morning, taking an hour or more just to loosen up? Does the deep aching pain in your pelvis actually wake you up at 3 in the morning, forcing you to get out of bed and walk around the house just to find relief? When you go to the gym or take a long, brisk walk, does your severe back pain miraculously disappear, only to return the moment you sit down to rest? Finally, are you a young man or woman in your 20s or 30s wondering why you have the back pain of an 80-year-old? If you checked these boxes, you have been misdiagnosed. You did not pull a muscle, you did not lift something too heavy, and you likely do not have a standard herniated disc. You are suffering from an invisible internal fire. Your own immune system is malfunctioned and it is actively attacking your spinal joints. To understand why standard treatments are failing you, you must understand the critical difference between mechanical back pain and inflammatory back pain. Think of your spine as a complex machine made of hinges and shock absorbers. Mechanical back pain, like osteoarthritis or a herniated disc, is an engineering failure. It is caused by pure physical wear and tear. If you put a heavy load on a broken hinge, it hurts. When you lie down and take the weight off the hinge, the pain stops. Rest equals relief. But inflammatory back pain is completely reversed. It is a biological failure. It is caused by autoimmune diseases, specifically ankylosing spondylitis and rheumatoid arthritis. In these conditions, your immune system becomes confused. It mistakes the healthy lining of your spinal joints for a dangerous foreign virus. It sends an army of white blood cells to attack the joints, flooding the area with highly toxic inflammatory chemicals. When you lie still in bed for 8 hours, these inflammatory chemicals pool and stagnate inside your joints, acting like acid. That is why the pain wakes you up in agony at 3 a.m. When you get up and start walking, your blood pumps faster, flushing the toxic chemicals out of the joints. That is why exercise makes you feel instantly better. Let us look closely at the first major autoimmune threat, ankylosing spondylitis. This disease almost always begins at the very base of your spine, inside the sacroiliac or SI joints, which connect your spine to your pelvis. The immune system attacks the joint lining, creating a massive chronic fire. The human body hates instability and inflammation. To try and put out this chronic fire, the body executes a catastrophic defense mechanism. It starts building new bone over the inflammation. If this disease is left untreated, the body will literally try to weld your spine together. Over years, it builds bridges of solid bone across your rubbery spinal discs, fusing the individual vertebrae into one single rigid pipe. In severe, late-stage cases, the spine completely loses its ability to bend, a condition radiologists call bamboo spine. The patient becomes permanently locked in a hunched, forward-leaning posture, unable to turn their head or stand up straight. While ankylosing spondylitis builds bone in the lower back, rheumatoid arthritis does something even more terrifying at the very top of your neck. Rheumatoid arthritis aggressively attacks the synovial fluid, the lubricating oil, inside your joints. The most critical joint in your neck is the C1-C2 joint, located directly beneath your skull. This specific joint is responsible for allowing you to shake your head no. It is stabilized by a thick, crucial seatbelt called the transverse ligament. When rheumatoid arthritis attacks this area, the severe inflammation acts like corrosive rust. It slowly eats away at the bone and physically dissolves that protective ligament. Without that ligament, the upper spine becomes drastically unstable. The heavy skull can suddenly slide forward, creating a guillotine effect that threatens to instantly crush the upper spinal cord. If a patient with severe rheumatoid arthritis complains of a heavy head, severe pain at the base of the skull, or sudden tingling in all 4 limbs, it is an absolute neurosurgical emergency. The spine is literally rusting apart at the seams. This biological reality exposes the deadly flaw in how young people treat their back pain. Because these diseases strike young adults in their 20s and 30s, local doctors completely dismiss the possibility of arthritis. They tell the patient they just have a sports injury or bad posture. They prescribe a bottle of generic ibuprofen and basic physical therapy. This delays the true diagnosis by an average of 7 to 10 years. During that lost decade, the immune system is actively welding the spine together or dissolving critical ligaments in the neck. The hidden danger occurs when these desperate patients go to a chiropractor. If a patient has an undiagnosed autoimmune disease, their spine is either highly brittle from bone fusion or critically unstable from dissolved ligaments in the neck. If a practitioner blindly applies high-velocity rotational force, violently twisting the neck or lower back to get a loud crack, they can easily fracture the brittle bamboo spine or instantly snap the C1-C2 joint in the neck, causing immediate and permanent paralysis. You must never let anyone blindly manipulate a spine that is under an active immune attack. To stop this invisible fire, we must catch it in the early stages before the bone begins to fuse. This is the ultimate diagnostic trap. A standard X-ray will show absolutely nothing in the first 5 years of this disease. An X-ray only sees calcium and bone. It cannot see the active inflammation. If you wait until the fusion shows up on an X-ray, the structural damage is permanent and irreversible. We must act as medical detectives. We demand a high-definition MRI of the sacroiliac joints and the lumbar spine using a specific fluid-sensitive sequence called STIR. We're looking for something called bone marrow edema. On the MRI, the solid, dark bone will show a bright, glowing white signal right at the joint line. That glowing white light is the active, burning fire of the immune system destroying the tissue. We also run a highly specific genetic blood test looking for the HLA-B27 marker, which strongly confirms the presence of ankylosing spondylitis. For the neck, we use a specialized flexion and extension X-ray combined with an MRI to measure the exact millimeter of dangerous instability at the C1-C2 joint caused by rheumatoid arthritis. Because this is a disease of the immune system, the treatment protocol requires elite medical coordination. We cannot cut an autoimmune disease out with a scalpel. Step 1 is extinguishing the fire. We work closely with specialized rheumatologists to deploy advanced biologic medications. These are high-tech, targeted drugs that physically block the specific inflammatory chemicals your immune system is producing. If caught early, these drugs can completely stop the disease, eliminate the pain, and prevent the spine from ever fusing. However, if the disease was misdiagnosed for years and massive structural damage has already occurred, we must intervene surgically. Step 2 is mechanical rescue. If ankylosing spondylitis has fused your spine into a severe, crippling hunchback, our neurosurgeons can perform complex corrective osteotomies, carefully cutting the fused bone to straighten your posture and allow you to look up and walk normally again. If rheumatoid arthritis has dissolved the ligaments in your upper neck, we perform an emergency cervical fusion. We use state-of-the-art titanium screws to permanently lock the C1 and C2 vertebrae together, stopping the skull from sliding forward and saving the spinal cord from being crushed. Chronic morning back pain that improves with exercise is not a pulled muscle. It is a siren warning you that your immune system has gone rogue. If you have suffered for months and your local doctor keeps telling you your X-rays are normal, you are losing precious time. The window to stop the permanent fusion of your spine is closing every single day. Stop guessing and stop risking your mobility. Let our expert neurosurgical team review your complete medical history. Click the link in the description to upload your MRI or CT scans to our secure portal. We will search for the hidden signs of bone marrow edema, give you a definitive second opinion, and build a targeted plan to put out the fire before it destroys your spine.